Hey friends, welcome to today's video. Today we're playing with some new makeup. I've got a couple of goodies from Milani that I'm excited to try out for the first time on camera with you guys. A couple of other products that I picked up from Sephora weeks ago and have yet to use. And the new, well, it's not new actually. It's a new as in it's a brand new unused palette, but it is the Persona Identity, the original Identity palette. I'm so excited about this. I love this palette and I purchased it, years ago when it launched, and somewhere along the way, my palette grew legs. So I got another one, and yeah, let's go ahead and get started. So I don't have anything on my face in terms of like tinted SPF. Typically I use my Elastin Mineral Tinted Sunscreen, but I left my skin bare today because I wanted to try out this primer from Milani. This is the No Pore Zone Primer. I picked this up at Ulta. It's described as being a mattifying primer, lily and bamboo extracts, and it's supposed to help, supposed to be lightweight, silky texture, matte finish, and ultra pore minimizing and pore blurring. So we are all about that. So I'm gonna grab a little bit of this. I haven't even taken off the wrapper. And I'm going to, okay, so when I squeezed it out, it was a little bit like liquidy. Like something tells me I kind of should have shaken it before, but I'm going to apply this just grabbed a little bit. I'm going to use a little bit on my fingertips. I'm not going to apply this everywhere. I'm just going to apply it right where I need it, which is where my pores tend to be the most noticeable and also where I get more oily. So that's pretty much the center of my face here. Next, we're gonna go in and apply the Milani Glow Hydrating Skin Tint. I don't know what to expect of this. I feel like someone mentioned this being a product I should try. Now, I will say the shade range seemed pretty limited. I wanna say I saw 3 shades in my store, this being the medium one, the one that was described for light to medium skin tones, but quite honestly, it looks pretty dark. Does that not look really dark for being light to medium? They had 1 shade lighter than this in my store, and it was very pale and very pink. So I knew that one wouldn't work, and this one looks like it's gonna be kind of a gamble here. But okay, so the consistency of this is really nice and creamy, hydrating. It feels very, very hydrating on the skin. It almost feels like a skincare product. Let's see what kind of coverage we get from this. It says skin tint, so I'm gonna assume we don't get a lot. I'm actually just gonna use my fingers to apply it. Okay, so that is going on really, really sheerly. The color works simply because it's so sheer that it almost blends out to like hardly any coverage. I don't even know that I feel or see a difference in coverage at all. If anything, I feel like this side looks a little bit more red than the other side of my face. So look what that color looks like when I first put it on. It feels really, really nice and hydrating, like a moisturizer. Oh, my skin feels great on this side. It feels supple and hydrated. Okay, definitely have quite a bit of a glow going on here. Very glowy, hardly any coverage though. I definitely feel like I'm gonna need to go over this with a foundation because I want to have makeup on today. I don't wanna look like I don't have anything on. I don't believe it has SPF, but it almost reminds me of like a tinted SPF. Yeah, I don't see any claim to having SPF at all. But again, the coverage is pretty much non-existent. I want to say that even my Elastin tinted SPF gives more coverage than this. It's pretty, very pretty, but let me move the mirror out of the face so you guys can actually see. It looks really pretty, very glowy, but I'm not getting hardly any coverage from this. So I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna apply a little bit of a foundation, and I'm gonna work with a more mattifying foundation since I have this glowy product underneath. I'm gonna use the Lancome Stick Foundation. I like to use this foundation when I have something tinted underneath it because I can really control how like little or much of this that I wanna use. Now, I don't wanna use a lot of this simply because, I've already got something on the skin. So I'm really just kind of doing 1 stripe on the cheeks, and I'm gonna have that blend out and just give me a little bit more coverage. I'm gonna go in with my BK Beauty 106 brush. And because I have that hydrating Milani skin tint underneath it, it's gonna help blend this stick foundation out. And because I wanna spread this out, because I didn't put a lot everywhere, I just put a little bit and I need it to spread and give coverage all over, I'm really kind of moving my brush in big circles rather than stippling it on in little areas. I really wanna spread that product out. Oh, this feels so good. I'm like closing my eyes and I feel like I could fall asleep. Okay, really nice. All right, so a little bit more coverage, but I didn't use much of that, so I still feel like the coverage is pretty light. I'm gonna go in with concealer, and this is where I'm gonna get my coverage from. Now, I'm gonna use the new Lancome Tint Idole Ultra Wear Concealer. I love this product. I picked this up about a week or so ago, and it's interesting because I picked this up on my own, and then I actually got a offer to work with them, so there'll be a video coming later on this product, but I am loving this concealer. I am loving this one, and also the Patrick Star, his brand One Size. His concealer is really nice too. I have the shade Medium 1 Neutral in this one, and then the shade Bisque Neutral in or 260 Bisque Neutral in the Lancome. Both are beautiful. They're very lightweight. I would describe the One Size mascara and having more of a matte finish. It kind of really reminds me of Shape Tape, but not as thick or heavy. It's like a very much like lighter weight version of Shape Tape, in my opinion, in the way that it covers and sets. Lancome is really nice. It's very, very lightweight. It's got a very like thin, silky texture to it almost. It has like it dries down to like a matte finish, but not real dry. It's hard to explain. This concealer is also a great one to spread and use if you want more coverage. I avoid doing something like this with a heavier, fuller coverage concealer, excuse me, because, you know, concealer is likely going to be the most pigmented, heaviest product that you will put on your skin. So typically you want to be careful not to apply too much, but with this concealer, I find that you can really blend it in, and it's lightweight, that you can use it in other areas of the face and it's not going to look thick or heavy. I'm using a beauty sponge to blend this in. This morning I was having like one of those mornings where I felt like I had a million things to do and I was feeling a little overwhelmed. I curled my hair and I set my curling iron down on the counter, and I left the room and some time had passed, and when I came back, I assumed enough time had passed that it wouldn't be hot anymore, but it was still hot. I grabbed it, burned my fingers, screamed, started crying. It was like a mixture of like pain, like crying because I was in pain, but also crying because I just realized in that moment how like flustered and overwhelmed I felt. And then my sweet, sweet girl, Brooklyn, both the girls ran into the room and, you know, were like, "Mommy, are you okay?" Like ran and got me ice, and just so sweet. You know, they never see me like that. I never, you know, I'm their mom. Like if anything, I'm always the one tending to them when they're hurt. And I mean, I think they've seen me like that maybe twice ever in their lifetime, and so they just got so worried and so concerned. It was sweet. Okay, so now that that's all blended in, I'm gonna take the sponge. I'm just gonna kind of bounce all over the skin to absorb a little bit of a shine, but just kind of set everything so pretty. So the skin looks very glowy, very hydrated. I've got some coverage, but I don't have a lot because I didn't use a lot of the foundation. If anything that gave me the most coverage is gonna be the concealer, and that was just in the center of the face. So next I'm gonna go and set everything. And I picked up the translucent powder by Laura Mercier in the shade Honey. I went to the store to look for the light catcher powders, and at Nordstrom they didn't have them yet, but they had this one, and I thought this looked like an interesting shade. It's got kind of like a yellow golden hue to it, but it's translucent, so I thought it would work for me. I have used this a couple times. I'm still on the fence if this is like a shade that's a little too dark for me or not. So I don't have my 108 brush. I don't have my 108 brush, but I'm gonna use, I have this Hourglass dual-ended brush, and I like this little side here. I like to use this for concealer or powder. I'm gonna use this, pick up some of that powder, and I'm gonna kind of blot the excess onto the lid, just so I don't have too much, and I'm gonna set the center of my face with this powder. Laura Mercier's translucent powders are some of my favorites. I love her original translucent, and I love her secret brightening powder. I need to buy some of that. I didn't see that in the store, but that used to be like my all-time favorite holy grail under eye setting powder. Now, when I'm setting the skin, if you notice, I'm kind of just pressing with my brush rather than sweeping, because I don't want to disrupt the foundation and the tinted skin tint that I put on, especially when you're working with a product like a skin tint that's so emollient and hydrating. If you sweep, you're gonna likely kind of spread it and move it around. I don't wanna do that. I just wanna set it. So just take your time and kind of press. You can also use a sponge to do this, but I'm using this brush. It's taking me a little bit longer because the brush is, you know, on the smaller side. But now I've got the skin set. Everything looks natural and light and matte. I'm gonna go in and fill in my brows. And for that, I'm using a new product. This is by Essence. It's the Make Me Brow Eyebrow Gel Mascara. I haven't tried this yet. I'm gonna fill my brows in first with the M Cosmetics pencil, and then I'll go and fill it in with the brow gel. So we have some exciting things happening with BK Beauty over the next several months. I am like bursting at the seams, excited to share with you guys everything that is launching between next month through the end of the year are releases and launches we have been working on for all of them at minimum a year and a half. I mean, one of them even over like 2 years. So we are so excited to be bringing them and sharing them with you guys. I cannot wait. The last half of the year is going to be crazy. Okay, so now that I filled my brow in, let's go and use this brow gel. I hope this works. I love a good brow gel. All right, so here's what the wand looks like. So far we are doing good. I like these smaller, precise little wands. They give you more control. It looks like the product has fibers. I don't know if you can see that. Can you see, or is it not really? I don't really see it on camera here, but it has tiny little fibers. Is this the fiber brow gel? Filling plus fibers. Okay, there we go. So it does. Let's see. Ooh, okay. I think I like this. So I am definitely seeing those fibers apply on my brows. I like a good fiber-based like brow gel because it creates volume to the brow. So if you're someone like me that has very little sparse hairs, I really do. I have my eyebrows microbladed, so it may fool you, but when it comes down to it, there's not a lot of hair there. And I don't like my brows to look drawn in and flat. I like them to look full and like their actual hair. And so a good fiber gel can do that. This one is probably the most volumizing that I have ever used. And it's almost to the sense that like it could easily go wrong if you apply too much, but this I love. I love this. Okay, I bought the shade, what shade did I get? Soft Brownie Brows. That is the shade that I got, 03 Soft Brownie. Okay, this I like. Of course, it's the first time I'm applying it. I don't know how it's gonna wear throughout the day, but the first application is really nice. It's one of those products that I think I could wear without a pencil and still get fullness in the brow. Okay, so let's move along for eyes. I'm going to use this Caviar Stick by Laura Mercier. I got the shade Bed of Roses. I picked this up in Sephora a few weeks ago and I actually forgot about it. I was cleaning out my makeup room yesterday and I found a bunch of makeup bags that still had product in it. So I love the packaging of this. It's a really beautiful soft rose gold. This is what the actual shade looks like. It's a pinky with some silver sparkle to it. It's really beautiful. I've really been into these crayon, you know, eyeshadow sticks lately. I've been loving the Bobbi Browns. And I've always enjoyed Laura Mercier Caviar Sticks too. Both of them have a nice creamy texture. I do feel like the Bobbi Brown are a little creamier than the Laura Mercier, but Laura Merciers are nice too. Okay, this is a really pretty color. So very, very rosy, but it's not too warm. Even though it's pink, it's got that silver sparkle to it, so it kind of allows you to create a warm or a cool look with it. I'm gonna go in quickly before it has time to set, and I'm gonna kind of blend out the crease a little bit because I don't want it to be too harsh. So I'm just taking a brush, an eyeshadow brush, and kind of blending out the product. I didn't add any shadow to this brush. Okay, it's pretty. Okay, so now we've got a nice sheer kind of layer of that shadow stick, really pretty. We're gonna open up the Persona Identity palette, and I'm really hoping that the shadow stick works with us. I wasn't even like pre-planning this. Okay, so this is what the palette looks like. It's such a beautiful neutral palette. You know, Sona created this palette to work specifically with brown eyes, but I find that this is a palette that I find it really universal. I think it'll go with all eye shades. I've got green eyes, obviously. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna create a little bit of a crease. I'm gonna use this shade right here called Charming. And we're just gonna kind of blend that into the crease in a really soft, diffused, kind of blown out way. The shade is darker though, so I expect to have, you know, more, I guess less of a blown out look and kind of a little more definition. I'm gonna be really, really light-handed and soft with it because I don't want it to be too defined. So I'm just grab a little bit at a time and just kind of layer it, starting in the outer corner, Bringing it over, I'm using the BK Beauty 201 brush. This brush is a really full, rounded, fluffy crease brush. So it's not gonna give you a whole lot of control in terms of where you place it, but it is gonna do a heck of a job of blending out. So what I like to do with this brush is pick it up on the tip, place it in the outer corner, and kind of go in little bitty circles just to get most of the shadow off the brush. Then I'll pull it and work it over to spread it. But if you notice, I don't go in first and then just start going back and forth. Because the brush is bigger, I want to have as much control over that color as possible, because it's already a brush that's going to be, you know, it's more of a blending brush, not more of a precision brush. So I place it, kind of get most of the product off, then I'll kind of move it back and forth to shear it out. That way you don't apply too much of it over in the inner corner. Okay, next I'm gonna go and I'm gonna take the shade Maverick. It is this like kind of cool tone, deep grayish brown. And I'm going to place that on the outer corner of my lid. And now I'm moving to the 202 brush, which is a blending brush, but you can see that it has a little bit more of a tapered tip. So that's gonna give you a little more control. And I'm gonna place that right here in the outer corner. And I'm gonna kind of keep the brush in the same spot. I'm just gonna slightly move back and forth, back and forth. So that is going to place that product there, that shade, but then it's also gonna soften it a little bit. So this is giving me kind of like a cool tone, dusty rose smoky eye so far. We're gonna see where we take this. I might leave that pink there. I might cover it up a little bit. Now what I'm doing is I'm kind of turning my brush. Like at first I was had it this way, now I'm turned up the positioning of my finger, and I'm kind of blending it up a little bit. That way when I'm looking at someone, they can see that definition. If I just focused on keeping it right here, once my eyes are open, I'm talking to someone, you completely lose that. So what we did first is we placed it there, but then we diffused it up. Perfect. Next, we're gonna go in and I'm gonna take a little bit of the shade Seductive. This is a really beautiful silvery taupe shade. I'm just gonna take my fingertip and I'm gonna kind of place it right here. Look at that, that is so beautiful. I'm gonna place it right there in the center of my lid and kind of blend it outward a little bit. We're getting some super sparkly eyes today. So the purple and that pink and that taupey like vibe really pulls out the green in my eyes. Okay, next we're gonna go ahead and line the eyes. I picked up a Patrick Ta eyeliner. This is the shade Deep Bronze, and I honestly forgot how deep this is. Let's see if this is deep enough. I love the packaging. Oh, okay, yeah, this is perfect. So this is what the liner looks like. It's a really dark, rich chocolate brown, super soft. I love the packaging. I am a fan of mechanical pencils, period. I know that the wooden pencils are nice because you can sharpen them and keep that tip really sharp, but when you find a good mechanical pencil that has a finer tip and it's not too thick, you can still, I feel like, create the same type of line look with it. So I'm gonna go in and I'm gonna line the outer portion of my lash line, and it's super creamy, so I don't have to put a lot of pressure, meaning I don't need both hands. I don't have to like pull on my eye so that I can really put a lot of pressure. I mean, I'm just putting a little bit of pressure and I'm getting a lot of product payoff. Now I would like for this line to be perfect and straight, but if it doesn't, I have time to manipulate it and smoke it out. So that's what we might have to do. We'll see. Okay, so I got a nice thick line. I think I am going to kind of refine this a tad. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab a BK Beauty 204, no I'm not, I'm gonna grab a BK Beauty 208 brush, which is our tiny little angled brush. And I'm gonna load up Fearless, which is the darkest matte brown in this palette. I'm gonna load up this brush on both sides of this. I'm gonna tap this off because I don't want any of this excess to fall and ruin my concealer and my foundation. And I'm just gonna kind of run it right over that line, and then I'm gonna pull it up a little bit. This is going to allow me to get a little bit of a wing, a little bit of lift to the eye. It's pretty much the shade of the eyeliner, a little bit darker though. This brush makes winged liner so easy. It's like impossible to mess up unless you are actually trying to mess it up, I have determined. And then I'm gonna go and even them out because I feel like this side is a little thicker. So we're gonna go and even that out. Perfect, okay. I'm gonna go ahead and take this and sweep it underneath. Okay, I need to highlight underneath my brows. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually gonna take, what do I have here? I'm gonna take the Pat McGrath Skin Fetish Sublime Perfection Powder. This is actually meant to be used underneath, or to set concealer, set underneath your eyes, but I'm gonna use it to set underneath my brow because I just want a nice, kind of soft brow highlight. I've got a lot of shimmer going on my eyelids and I don't want any more. I'm also going to take this powder and I'm going to kind of run it right in the inner corner here and just kind of buff it in little circles around that crease shade. This is a little trick and tip I learned over the weekend from Megan Lombardi. If you are not following her, you're welcome. She is an amazing content creator. She's on TikTok and Instagram, and she also has a YouTube channel. She used to be an artist for Charlotte Tilbury. So if you go to her, if you love like Charlotte Tilbury campaigns, that like sultry, beautiful, goddess, glam, like makeup, you will love her. She does all of that and has a great way of explaining and breaking it down. She's a fantastic teacher. So I will link her socials in my description box below. This is one thing she showed. She showed taking a brush, and she actually used Charlotte Tilbury's airbrush powder. And she talked about how to like, it was a little trick she learned at Charlotte Tilbury to buff out and soften that crease. And so I'm gonna start doing that now all the time. Okay, love that. All right, next we're gonna go and I'm gonna tight line my eyes, and I'm gonna use the Patrick Top pencil. I'm also gonna use this to line my lower lash line a little bit. All right, I'm gonna start right here in the outer corner. Because this is pretty dark, I'm not gonna take it too far. I'm gonna take it about, maybe about a third of the way, not even halfway, because I'm going to blend this out and run it with a shadow. I'm gonna use the BK Beauty 207, and we're gonna go back into this palette, and we're gonna use the shade Charming, which is that first shade we used in the crease. We're gonna grab a little bit of that on this brush and start on the outer corner here. Just kind of pull it and smoke it out. Perfect, okay. I'm feeling like I wanna line the inner rim with a brightening pencil. So I'm lining the inner rim with the Makeup by Mario inner rim brightening pencil just to brighten these eyes. I also feel like I need to go back and add a little more concealer because I don't know if it's the shadow that dropped, but I feel like I need a little more brightness under the eye. I'm gonna go ahead and pop on mascara first. Another trick I learned from Megan was to take your eyelash curler and curl, but kind of twist inward. Twist the wand inward, and it's going to give brighter open eyes when you put your mascara on. So squeeze and then gently kind of angle your lash wand. I'm using Lancome's mascara primer. Do a little coat of that. For lashes, I'm using Trish McEvoy's Dramatic Lash Mascara. This was a Nordstrom anniversary purchase that I really love. I'm gonna just get that wand right in there to the base of my lashes, close my eye, wiggle back and forth so that I get all that extra volume right at the root of the lash. Okay, so that gives you a really pretty, nice, full lash. I am going to brighten under my eyes a little bit now that we have all the eye makeup done. I'm gonna take a brush and just kind of sweep just to make sure that if there's any fallout there, I remove that. I picked up this Milani Supercharged Brightening Under Eye Tint, and I'm gonna use this just to give a little highlight under the eye. I grabbed the shade 120 Peach, and I think this is gonna be a good shade for me. It has a nice, thin, lightweight texture to it. I can tell right off the bat that it doesn't look like it's gonna be a real heavy or pigmented product. It looks very natural and very sheer. I actually thought this would be a great product to use you know, on the days where I don't really want to put a lot of makeup on, or if I'm just running to the gym and I don't want to put concealer on, but I don't want to look like, you know, I haven't slept in 3 days, which is kind of what I look like without anything. So I'm gonna just run this underneath the eye, and then I'm also gonna kind of pull and lift up with my finger to clean up that, give a nice clean lift to the eye. Ooh, that's nice. That product is really nice. It's a very, very sheer, subtle highlight. Just take the sponge. Perfect. Okay, and then I'm gonna kind of set the rest of the face. That Milani skin tint is really pretty and very glowy, but to be honest, it feels a little too glowy for me. I'm not loving it because it just looks a little too glowy for me. Okay, next I'm going to apply bronzer, and I picked up the Chanel Cream Bronzer the other week, and I'm super excited to try it because I haven't tried it since they relaunched the shade. And I'm just gonna use the BK Beauty 101 brush. I'm gonna kind of load up the brush on the tip with product, and I'm just going to kind of press it onto the skin. And I'm gonna always bring it into the hairline. I really love that look of bronzer where you kind of sweep and create this C-like look. By doing that, it's also going to highlight subtly the face because the forehead will be a little bit brighter, and you'll have this really beautiful glow, golden glow from the hairline down to the cheeks. And I'm also gonna bring a little bit on the nose. For blush, I'm gonna apply the Rare Beauty Cream Blush in the shade Bliss. And this is a new product. We picked this up a little while ago for shooting, like, you know, for BK Beauty social shoots, but I haven't used this on myself. I have another one of these and it's really pigmented, so I'm gonna be careful not to apply too much of this. I'm just gonna apply the smallest little dots there, and then we're gonna blend that out quickly, see what kind of color we get, and then go back and add more if we want more. Yeah, see, that adds a lot of color. You really don't need much with this product. Just the smallest amount will do ya. You might even want to like dab it on your hand first and then go from your hand to the cheeks. I mean, look how much color that gave just from those tiny little dots. So pretty. Okay, now that I've got like the blush, the bronzer, everything's coming together, the eyes are definitely coming together now. So for lips, I'm using the Hourglass lipstick in the shade Girl. This is a really pretty pink, kind of a mid-tone, just pop bubblegum pink. It's got a nice soft level of pigment. It's buildable, so with one layer, you're gonna get real sheer color, but if you layer it, you get more. I like the bullet shape of this lipstick because I find myself not really using lip liner and just kind of using the pointed tip to define the lips. And this is the finished look. So to give you guys my final thoughts on the new products that I use, the Milani Glow Skin Tint is a really beautiful product. It feels so nice on the skin. It gives the skin a very hydrated, beautiful glow. Very little coverage, looks very dark in pigment, but pretty much blends out almost transparent. I feel like I get more color and coverage from my Elastin tinted sunscreen. But again, it's a beautiful product. I think it's great to use underneath foundation if you like a glowy base. I think that if you are going without makeup one day, but you just want the skin to look hydrated, this is a great option too. Probably not something that I'm gonna use personally a whole lot, again, because I just don't like that really glowy look. I found myself just applying powder to cancel that out, but it's not a bad product. It's not a bad product. It's just not for me. Okay, I did really love the Milani Supercharged Brightening Under Eye Tint though. I really like this product. Very thin, hydrating, very sheer, a great product. I see myself using this when I'm, you know, getting up in the morning at 5:36 a.m. and I'm heading to the gym and I just, you know, want to put something on, but I don't want to look like I've put any effort into my, you know, looking like I put makeup on. This will be something I use. This will also be something that you can keep in your bag, touch up with throughout the day. If you look in the mirror and your eyes are looking real tired and dark around 3 p.m., pop some of this. I feel like it'll kind of energize and wake up your makeup. Wake up your makeup. I like that. So I did like this product a lot. I really loved this brow gel by Essence. Really liked it. This might end up in my favorites video. We will see. I'm going to continue to use this month, but I really like this. By like first impression, yes, love, love, love this. I really loved this Patrick Ta pencil. Creamy, pigmented, gives you time to manipulate it. I love the packaging. I love the component. It's very easy to use. It's definitely a win in my book. This Milani No Pore Zone Primer, I like it for now. I mean, I think with primer, you need a full day's wear test to really judge it, but I do think that it mattified my pores, mattified my skin. It felt lightweight. Yeah, I liked it. This blush by Rare Beauty, I really, really love this color. The formula of this is definitely on the very pigmented side when it comes to a liquid or cream blush. So if you are someone that is just getting into cream blush products or liquid blush products and they intimidate you, this probably isn't one that I would start with, just because it's very pigmented. It's very easy to do too much right off the bat, but this particular color I really liked. So those are my thoughts on that. What else do we use? This Laura Mercier Honey Powder, I really like it. It works for me. I was worried it might be a little too dark, but it definitely still brightens under the eye without being too orangey or too dark underneath my eyes. I love it. What else? Do we use any other products? I already kind of expressed my love for the Lancome new concealer. Love this one. Also love this one. They're both similar in terms of texture to me, very lightweight. I feel like this offers more coverage than the Lancome does, but I get pretty great coverage from this too. Yeah, so I think those are all the newer products that we talked about in today's video. I will have all the products listed and linked in the description box for you. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.